My beloved child, there is no more time to waste. Listen very carefully and don't scroll even a single inch away, because what you are about to hear could determine the next 7 years of your life, or send everything you love spiraling into chaos. At exactly 3:47 p.m. today, something shifted. A red flag alert was triggered, and it wasn't just a random glitch in the system, it was intentional. They weren't supposed to find it. But they did. And now, your house, your name, your records, have been flagged for inspection. The police aren't knocking yet. But they're watching. And someone, maybe someone even close to you, has given them a name. And that name connects directly back to you. The alert didn't go to just any department. It reached the Special Investigative Bureau, and they don't waste time. They act. Swiftly. Silently. And when they do, it's already too late for those who ignored the early signs. And that's why I'm here. To give you one last chance. Because, child, this isn't just another viral warning. This is real. The paper in their hands isn't just a rumor, it's a warrant. A legal warrant. Signed. Sealed. Authorized. And it holds your initials, your region, and a very specific time frame that matches an event, or a piece of evidence, they now believe is linked to your location. You think this is a mistake? Maybe a setup? Maybe someone used your name without your permission? You might be right. But guess what? The law doesn't care about mistakes. It acts on what it finds. And what they found is disturbing. A coded signal. A message that pinged a database not meant for public access. That message carried your metadata. And that metadata was traced, through IP logs, timestamps, and internal flags, to a device that was once connected, to your Wi-Fi. Yes. Your house. Your network. Your silence. You have 24 hours. That's all. Because by this time tomorrow, you'll either be preparing your statement, or preparing your explanation to the people who will stand outside your door, gloves on, cameras recording, and ask, "Is this your residence?" My child, don't let it get that far. This is your moment. This is your escape. This is the voice before the sirens. Now, let's talk about the leak. You see, 3 months ago, there was a breach in a highly encrypted file vault. That vault contained over 500 names connected to a classified transfer. Out of those 500, only 7 names triggered a direct GPS link to physical home addresses. One of those addresses matched your block. Not just your block. Your building. Not just your building. Your floor. And based on heat maps and access logs, your exact apartment number. How? You're probably asking. How could this happen? You didn't do anything wrong. You live your life, you protect your space. But the truth is, someone inside your circle did something. And they did it using your resources. Maybe it was a relative, a friend, a visitor, or someone you trusted who once asked to borrow the Wi-Fi or charge their phone or print something real quick. That's all it takes. One backdoor access. One connection. And suddenly, you're the host. You're the node. You're the fall guy. The police don't care if it was you or not, they care what the data says. And the data says you were the last confirmed ping before the file got transferred offshore. The case is now being built. Quietly. Carefully. But it's moving fast. And if you're listening to this, you still have a very small window left. But once the last signature hits the system, they'll proceed with Phase 2, evidence retrieval. That means physical knock. That means phone seizure. That means background checks. That means neighbors being interviewed without your knowledge. My beloved child, can you handle that? Can you handle the moment your neighbors see black cars in front of your home and start whispering, "What did he do?" Do you want your name to be dragged through a mistake someone else made using your space? No. You don't deserve that. But to avoid it, you have to act now. You can't delay. You can't wait for proof, because by the time they show you the proof, it will already be too late to erase your name from the report. Let me tell you what I know. The file that was leaked contained high-value financial identities. Offshore transactions. Multi-million-dollar records. A single trace from that file connected to a network port that matches your household router. This isn't public yet. But when it becomes public, the first names they announce will be under suspicion. And you are in the top 3 proximity targets. So what's your next step? First, document everything. Make a record of who visited your house. Who had access to your devices. Who knew your password. Second, disconnect any unknown devices from your home network. Third, and this is important, do not panic or try to delete anything right now. That may trigger a red flag on the back-end servers already tracking deletion patterns. You must remain calm, alert, and prepared. They are watching your online behavior. The time you're most active. The videos you're watching. The queries you're searching. Even now, someone might be scanning this very content for keywords to decide whether your behavior is suspicious or protective. This is not fear-mongering. This is forensic protocol. This is how cases are built in silence while the subject believes everything is fine. You were not chosen randomly. You were selected because your digital fingerprint showed vulnerability. And now they want to exploit that. Unless you prove to the system that you're aware. That you're innocent. That you're informed. But here's where it gets chilling. There is a name, someone close to you, that has appeared in the reverse query logs. This person might have used your name to cover their tracks. They may have lied. They may have panicked. And the moment they did, they exposed you. And now, the system treats you as an accomplice unless evidence proves otherwise. But listen to me, you are not alone. There is still time. There are still 7 hours before the first wave of background screening is executed. You have a choice. Either stay silent and hope they overlook you, or act now, speak to the right authorities, and initiate a protection statement that separates your IP history from the suspicious activity. Once that's done, they will know you're not the one hiding, but the one who's been dragged unknowingly into this web. Don't be the one who regrets staying silent. Be the one who was smart. Fast. Aware. You've already been given the rare gift of warning. Most people never get it. They find out when the knock comes, or worse, when their accounts are frozen, or their job is suspended pending investigation. This is bigger than you think. It's not just your device. It's your digital reputation. Your future travel clearance. Your work verification. Everything is tied to your name. One wrong report can create a shadow that follows you for the next decade. You still reading? Good. Because that means you're one of the few who don't scroll past warnings like these. There are eyes on you, and that awareness, cameras in places you didn't install. But you have software you didn't download. Share nothing about this. All of it is running, because someone wants access to a transfer they can't complete without staying hidden behind someone else. If you see anything unusual, messages, power outages, perfect shield, unknown logins, but now the shield is cracking. Now you know. And now, they're nervous. The moment they sense that you know, they might reach out. Apologize. Blame it on someone else. Don't trust anyone easily. Stay cautious. Because the only thing more dangerous than a legal warrant is the person who caused it and still hasn't confessed. My child, time is running out. This is your final alert. Do what you must. Before they do what they came for, but what they didn't expect, was you waking up early. You catching the whisper before the scream. They never thought you'd get this message in time. You were supposed to be asleep. Distracted. Busy. And yet, here you are, reading, listening, decoding, and preparing. That changes everything. Because now, the game is no longer one-sided. Now you're not just the target, you are a variable. A disruption. And that, my child, is your first weapon. The warrant they're holding? It's not a raid order, yet. But it is marked Tier 2 priority, which means surveillance, background pull, and movement logging has already begun. Any suspicious activity, unregistered devices, unknown transactions, even unusual power cycles on your router, can trigger an escalation to Tier 1. And if that happens, you won't get another alert. You'll get a knock. The officer will not smile. The gloves will be on. The badge will be real. And the first question they'll ask you is not, "Are you okay?" It will be, "Did you know why we're here?" And the moment you stutter, pause, or ask, "What's this about?" that pause becomes evidence of evasion. Yes, even hesitation is time-stamped. And they won't be alone. Behind them will be someone holding a camera. Not for publicity. For body cam evidence. Every blink, every word, every change in tone, gets recorded, stored, reviewed by systems far more powerful than you know. AI-enhanced, tone-analyzed, thermal-scanned. You won't even know what you gave away, until the report is printed. But let's back up. Let's talk about why you were marked. 3 weeks ago, an operation named Project Silent Halo began its sweep of flagged digital intersections, locations where financial metadata clashed with encrypted proxy tunnels. In simpler words, locations where someone tried to hide money, identity, or movement under another person's digital shadow. Yours was one of them. They didn't come for you then because the algorithm was still unsure. It needed more proof. So it watched. And waited. And then, came the bank echo, a brief signal from a dormant account that pinged through your IP tunnel. That signal matched a list of suspicious activity related to offshore wire routes, places like the Cayman Islands, Estonia, Bermuda. That one echo made your address go from observation to connection suspected. And that's when the warrant was drafted. And now, here we are. Child, you think this is just about money? No. This is bigger. It's about trust systems collapsing. The people behind this aren't just stealing identities, they're creating ghost identities. Ones that look real, sound real, sign real documents, but they don't exist. They are using real people as the foundation, then building false lives on top of them, and you might be the foundation for one of the biggest ghosts they ever built. The weird notifications you ignored last month? The two-step verification texts you thought were random? The password change request you dismissed as spam? That was them, testing how much control they had. They didn't need your password. They needed your pattern. They watched how you respond, how fast you scroll, how long you stay on a screen. Your behavior became their map. And now, they're almost done drawing it. But there's something you still have, that they can't replicate, your awareness. This message. This moment. And that's why they're nervous now. They can feel the shift. When the target becomes aware, the web weakens. And that's when people start to act strange. Watch for it. Someone you trust might suddenly go quiet. Or suddenly become overly helpful. That's the sign. Either they're involved, or they've been warned. Either way, don't confront them. Just observe. Track who reaches out to you. Especially in the next 72 hours. Anyone who suddenly asks you, "Hey, are you okay?" or "Need help with anything?" without any context, could be testing the water. You need to create a safe zone. A list of 3 people you know you can trust with your silence. Not your story. Not your panic. Just your silence. They must be people who don't ask questions, they just show up. Because when this unfolds, your voice might not be the first thing they believe. But your preparation will be. Let me tell you how this can end. You follow nothing, ignore this message, and go on with your day. And then, on a random Tuesday, a black SUV parks across your street. Nothing unusual, right? Except it doesn't leave for 3 hours. The next morning, your phone battery drains faster than usual. Maybe an update? Or maybe it's running something you didn't install. That night, your doorbell rings. It's not the police yet. It's a man in a courier uniform. He hands you a sealed envelope. Inside is a notice of participation. No badge. No name. Just your address, your initials, and a request to appear for questioning at a confidential location. That's the silent approach. The one they use when they think you'll cooperate without causing noise. But if they sense resistance, the silent approach vanishes. That's when the legal route gets louder. A copy of the warrant is posted. Your face is added to a file list. Your social profiles are frozen. Your video watch history is compiled. Yes, even the videos you're watching right now are being recorded into that profile. And now, for the most chilling part, the warrant code. Every official search warrant carries a code. It's usually harmless. But this one ends in RZ9-7. That code is used only in cases where the subject may be unknowingly involved in state-level digital laundering. Which means, you may be seen as a sympathetic accomplice, someone who didn't act criminally, but became part of a crime by being passive. And in legal systems, passive complicity is sometimes punished just as severely as action. But, if you act now, if you secure your data trail, if you issue a proactive statement to the inquiry board, if you lock down your identity, then you're not a suspect, you're a whistleblower. And whistleblowers are protected. That's your golden door. But it won't stay open forever. Somewhere in a server room, a digital clock is counting down. Not hours, but access cycles. The moment that final cycle hits 0, the report is finalized. Names are printed. Warrants go live. And after that, no video, no voice, no plea can change what's already in the system. You reading this is rare. Less than 2% of flagged individuals ever receive a soft alert. You are now one of the few who has been warned. So ask yourself, what are you going to do with this chance? You can scroll away, pretend this never reached you, and hope it fades. Or you can listen to your gut, to your instinct, to this divine whisper that somehow reached your ears before the noise took over. Because, my child, this is not fear. This is the final mercy before chaos begins. The house you're in has been marked, not for destruction, but for inspection. The life you're living has been copied, not to ruin you, but to use you. But if you awaken now, if you act, you can break the trap they so carefully set. And they'll realize something they didn't expect, that the one they thought was asleep, was wide awake, and ready, but here's what they didn't calculate: your will to fight. Your refusal to let someone else's sin define your future. They thought you'd freeze, collapse, go silent. But instead, you're waking up. You're reading. You're remembering every visitor, every weird pop-up, every delayed update on your phone that never made sense. You're not just thinking anymore, you're connecting dots. The same dots they assumed you'd never see. But time is the enemy now. Not hours, moments. You don't have days. You don't have peace. You don't have silence anymore. You only have what you choose to do next. Because the timer is running, not just in their system, but in the emotional space around you. Your energy is already being felt. People near you can sense something is wrong. They may not say it, but they feel it, in the air, in your eyes, in the weight around your shoulders. Something's not right. And if they can sense it, so can the watchers. Right now, the system is doing a passive scan of your surroundings. Not just GPS acoustic mapping. That's why your smart devices feel warm when idle. That's why background noise randomly activates your voice assistant. They're scanning for phrases, for tone, for signs of guilt or awareness. It doesn't care if you're innocent. It only tracks pattern deviation. If your pattern shifts, if your digital behavior changes too fast, they move in. And now comes the most critical phase. The testing phase. Before they arrive, before they make it official, they'll try a soft breach. You may get a call from an unknown number claiming to be a delivery confirmation. Don't confirm anything. You may get a message saying, "Is this still your number?" Don't reply. You may get a notification from a fake app update. Don't click it. These are triggers. If you engage, they assume you're unaware, and proceed with silent tracking. But if you ignore it calmly, securely, and seal your access points, you confuse the algorithm. Confusion, my child, is your temporary shield. But that won't hold for long, because now, someone else knows. Someone you haven't thought about in a long time. They were watching from a distance. They always had access. And now, they see your name on the internal list. You don't even know this person is still connected to your data cloud. But they are. And they're afraid. Not for you, but for themselves. Because the moment your name gets investigated, their name follows. So they'll try to reach out. Say sorry. Offer help. Reconnect. Don't trust it. Because that help might be another backdoor. Another attempt to wipe their trail and put it all on you. They're not calling because they care. They're calling because you're their shield, and your shield is now cracking. Your name wasn't supposed to be on this list. You were supposed to be the decoy. The perfect cover. Quiet life. Average schedule. No police records. No red flags. But then, you opened something. You clicked something. Or maybe, You helped someone log in that day they forgot their password. That was the moment. That was when you got injected with the digital toxin. And now it's spreading. Not in your body, in your footprint. In every form you've signed. Every message you've sent. Every website you forgot you visited. It's already building a ghost version of you, and that ghost has done things you haven't. That ghost is the criminal. But you are holding the receipt. And the police? They don't know about ghosts. They only know who paid. You must now make 3 immediate changes. Listen carefully. First, change your Wi-Fi name. That signals that you're aware of unauthorized devices. Second, disable any autosync features on apps you rarely use. That cuts the hidden backups. Third, write down every password and do not change them until instructed. Why? Because sudden mass password changes signal panic, and that spikes your danger score. Every move must look normal, but be surgical. And now let me tell you what's happening tonight. Between 11:45 p.m. and 3:15 a.m., the system will run a batch process. This is the final stage before issuing physical motion alerts to enforcement teams. That's when all collected data gets printed, finalized, and shared across departments. Once that happens, you will not be treated as under suspicion, but as under action. And when that moment arrives, no more alerts. Just the sound of boots on your steps. Just a knock that doesn't wait for permission. Just a tone in the officer's voice that says, "We need to talk, now." You'll wish someone had warned you. But someone did. You may wonder why this message is so intense. Why it sounds like a movie. Because the real world doesn't send warnings like this. But the spiritual world? It sends them in whispers, in feelings, in divine timing. And when you see them, you don't question, you act. This is your divine timing. This is not fear. This is intervention. You still think this can't be real? Search your device logs. Look for recent login attempts you didn't make. Look at your router, see if the light blinks even when no one's online. You've noticed it before, haven't you? But you ignored it. Not anymore. My beloved child. I can't keep you safe if you keep pretending you're not in danger. The paperwork is drafted. The systems are awake. The watchers are watching. But your response? That's the last thing they can't control. And that is your weapon. Tonight, sleep light. If your door creaks at 2:13 a.m., don't panic. But do remember, the universe gave you this message for a reason. If your phone lights up for no reason, take note. If a neighbor glances at your door then walks away, log it. Nothing is random anymore. They've identified the house. They're holding the warrant. They're just waiting to see if you know. But now, as the clock ticks deeper into the night, something even more chilling is unfolding, something they don't show in news reports or court hearings. Because beyond the legal warrant, beyond the surveillance, beyond the flashing badges and silent observers, there's a second force involved. One that doesn't wear uniforms, doesn't hold cameras, doesn't walk in daylight. These are the ones who arrive before the authorities, the ones who leave no trace, and yet, they are always part of the process. You won't find them in the reports, but ask anyone who's been investigated like this, there's always something unexplainable that happened first. A shadow outside the window. A knock that vanished. A strange power outage. A missed call with no number. That's not just coincidence. That's the system preparing your space for the takedown. They are clearing the emotional field before the legal one. And tonight, that clearing begins. You may already feel it. The air feels heavier. Your phone's screen dims faster. Your dog, if you have one, suddenly barks at corners. Your lights flicker at the exact same time you think about checking something. And once the system sees you as a data breach enabler, even unintentionally, it doesn't ask questions anymore. It acts. Emails you send start taking longer. Calls begin dropping midway. Your messages don't deliver, even with full bars. These are tests. The system is seeing how you react to disruption. If you get angry, you spike a risk flag. If you stay silent, you get monitored longer. But if you act smartly, like you're doing now, if you stay calm, aware, if you make strategic moves and document everything silently, you confuse the protocol. That confusion buys you time. And right now, time is your currency. Every second you stay ahead buys you one more opportunity to prove this wasn't you. That you're the victim, not the vessel. That you're the warning, not the weapon. And here's what they're not telling you: someone in your building has already been contacted. Quietly. Indirectly. Maybe it was a survey. A random knock. A quick question about the area. That was the silent scout. They were observing reactions. Testing how easy it would be to walk the halls. They're measuring the layout. And your apartment was flagged as direct line of entry. Which means, when the moment comes, they won't hesitate. They'll move like it's routine. Gloves on. Eyes calm. But inside? They'll be rushing. Because they know, you're no longer sleeping. You're awake now. And awakened targets are unpredictable. Dangerous. Powerful. That's why they hate awareness. Because it breaks the script. But listen closely, the next 24 hours are not normal hours. These are trigger hours. Everything you say, send, receive, is now being mirrored. Stored. Reviewed. Even private voice notes are being duplicated into sandbox files. The excuse is national protection, but the truth? It's about containment. Containing the person who knows too much. And you, my child, now know too much. They're scared. Not of you physically.